Okay, here we are today. Welcome. Beautiful day, sunny, gorgeous out. Here we are. Oh, blooming. PJ Emerody looking good. Awesome. Yeah, so today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss how to properly stake a tree. Now, I have a little weeping willow over here by the house, and it's got a pretty loose root structure. And today we're going to show the proper way to stake a tree. A lot of times you'll see newly planted trees with two stakes on either side and two pieces of rope or twine pulling in opposite directions very firmly, and so the tree can't move. And a lot of times this is done to stabilize the tree when it's young, so the roots have a chance to establish themselves in new soil. And the stakes should be removed within 2 to 3 years tops. But what a lot of sort of old school technology nurserymen in the past have done this incorrectly, because basically what you want to do is you want to create a stable place for the trunk to move, where if in an event that it did get sort of pushed over, it would be blocked from falling over, but still had the ability to move independently of itself. So basically what you do is you want to create a ring and then have 3 or 4 posts in the ground that are pulling in opposite directions, so that the ring itself is suspended in the air around the trunk, so that the trunk can move with the wind. And as it does that, the bark at the bottom, the cambium later and the xylem, they basically, in the phloem, basically get bulkier, and that's why you get a buttress base at the base of trees. The buttress base being how it's wider at the bottom of the tree to stabilize the support of the upper branches. So in order for that to occur naturally, the tree's got to be able to move a little bit and stress out some of those tissues down in the lower areas. So if you stake the tree so it can't move, those tissues don't develop, and then the tree's weaker and eventually could fall over. Even older, in its older life, will be less stable because it didn't develop those sort of tissues earlier in its development. So I'm going to show you today the best way to do it, and we'll go from there. The camera angle will change, so we'll see what happens. Enjoy. Okay, so here we are at Ornamentals, at the truck, Ornamentals LLC. We're going to show you how to properly stake a tree today. So this is how you make your ring. So basically what you need for this project is a good size hose clamp. That'll be the ring itself. And then we're going to cover that in some poly hose, which is here. So the hose clamp will go inside of this and create a ring. So you basically want to cut the length of this to match the hose clamp. So what we do is you take a screwdriver, one of these multi-purpose screwdriver. If you take the head of the screwdriver out, this end works perfectly on this little tip of the trade there. So you want to unscrew it completely and take it apart. Come on now. All right. So then your trusty hand snips handy. So you want to basically just measure this. We can cut it a little shorter so you have some room to play with the machine, screwing it back together. So I'm going to use my snips here because these are better. So we'll cut it a 1/2 inch shorter than the hose clamp, so you have room to, so we can get rid of that. And then you want to feed this through the tube. Hopefully you have enough sticking out the other end so that you can now get this back together. So you get your screwdriver, get that on the end, and then screw your hose clamp back together. Now, you don't want to screw it all the way down because you have to get it around the trunk of the tree. So you just get it so it's started. Okay, this will become the ring for around the tree. Alright, let's get rid of this since we can. I'll show you me cutting my finger. Okay. Alright. So, then we have these 4 carabiners. They're going to be used, so each carabiner will be here positioned pulling off of the string. So there'll be one on each side pulling the ring out, so it holds the ring up in the air around the trunk of the tree, so then the tree can freely move inside here without tipping over. All right, so this is stuff I just pick up at a local hardware store. Shop local. Okay, so here we are at the tree. It's a nice weeping willow. Now what I do is I use this tulip bulb maker with a cordless drill to help drill my holes. So I've got 3 in already. Move the stones out of the way so you don't get them in the hole. Give it a little drill. Alright, and that's basically so that we have room for the stakes to go in the ground. Alright, we don't need that. So, hammer the stakes in. Okay, so now we have all the stakes in. So I like to use this arbor webbing. It's picked up most nurseries, flat banding nylon webbing, and then here's the ring and the little screwdriver action. Okay. So you want to undo the ring and then get it on the trunk. Now basically you're going to have the trunk is going to be able to move like this, but it'll never have a chance to be able to fall over. I'll put this around. Get it back together. It's the hardest part. And you just screw it down until you get to a nice comfortable spot. You know, you can slide the part of it in there so it's protected from the wind and the rain. Okay, so like that. And then we'll use ropes to tie it off the 4 ways so this will hover in the air. All right. So I brought these handy little carabiners. Makes the job a little easier. So you tie the end of your rope to the carabiner. Two half hitch there. And then you got to measure the distance, and you want to give yourself a little slack so that you have something to pull through the carabiner. Cut it, and then good idea to burn the ends so that it doesn't fray. So it's a good idea to just have a lighter handy. You just melt the ends a little bit so that they don't separate in the future. All right, and then, yeah, we're just gonna loop this through for now. And then you tie what we call a trucker's knot, trucker's hitch, which is basically just a slip knot. And it holds it in place, and then when you want to adjust it, you can pull it out, pull it tighter, and retie a slip knot. Makes it very simple. Okay, so go through and measure. So here we are. The tree has been fully staked. You can see that each carabiner is tied off with a simple square slip knot so that it can be easily adjusted. The tree is free to move on its own independently, but if it ever reaches the edge, it'll be held up by the other ropes. So that's how you properly stake a tree. Now, that should develop nice buttress base at the bottom so it can hold up to the weight of the canopy, which is going to be pretty prevalent with this. This is a tree I pruned last week, and you can see even still it has a huge head to it. So it's going to be a very large canopy, and you know, don't want to protect them. We don't want to and preserve them. So yeah, that's how you do it. Properly staking a tree. This is Nick Willard from Ornamentals LLC, signing off. Have a great day.